Hello. I joked last year that I might show my face if I got 1,000 followers. And guess what? I got 1,000 followers last week. So here I am. As promised, today I'm going to talk a little bit about integrating tablet use with editing a project, a writing project. This channel is called Stuff Writers Like. I am a writer. I do actually produce writing. I don't just spend all my time buying tablets. I produce writing. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the process I use. Now you can do this with a Supernote. You can do this with a reMarkable, any kind of reMarkable. You can do it with any books device, Kindle Scribe, Notes app, anything that lets you capture text. You can integrate into an editing process. This video is not at all going to be a deep dive on Scrivener because Scrivener's a pretty majestic beast of a piece of software that has a ton of features. So that's going to be a different story for a different day. It's going to be a little more involved. So I'm just going to talk about how I have been using the Paper Pro currently as my go-to tablet in the process of writing a first draft and how I bring it into the editing on Scrivener. If you don't know about Scrivener, it is a piece of writing software that's been around a long time. I've been using it since like 2008, 2009, and I love it. And it's not a subscription. It's something you just buy and you have. And the company that makes it has a really nice library of support. I just love them. I think they get writers, and it's really useful whether you're writing in traditional publishing or self-publishing or just drafting projects and not thinking about publishing. It's just a great piece of software for the Mac. There is a PC version. I've always used it on a Mac and it works really well for me. So let's get into it. So here's the reMarkable desktop app, which, as I've mentioned before, I do love. And here are a bunch of projects in my files that are synced up. And I'm just going to kind of pick one to use as a demonstration document. I've got a lot of pages in here, both handwritten and typed, actual notes on scenes, and then also just kind of plot and story things. I've already exported most of what's in here and into my Scrivener file, but let me kind of pick a couple pages and see. Now, you can convert to text from the desktop app using the little thing that looks like the letter A up in the top right, but I don't use text and you'll see why later. So I'm just going to export the handwritten page as the demonstration document. Okay, now we are in Scrivener and I don't have a lot in the draft folder right now. Everything is in the research part of the project because in the research part you can put any kind of file that includes images, website links, PDFs. You can't just drag a PDF into the draft. You have to do it from into the research part of the binder. You are simply going to drag the PDF you just exported from the reMarkable desktop app over to the research part of the binder, and there are your handwritten notes. Now I'm going to do some resizing of this and changing up the view so that I get a split screen. When you first go into split screen, it duplicates what's in the other screen. Then I'm going to insert a new sort of text folder so that the right-hand panel is a blank place to enter text and do word processing. And I'll leave the PDF on the left-hand side. And I will explain what I do with that and why I do it that way. But I'm going to jump over to a different project that I first recorded the bulk of this video with that before realizing it had a whole bunch of information that my publisher would not want you to see. And so I had to quick substitute this demo project. But I'm going to jump back over to that other one because I don't want to re-record all of that information. then I have a nice canvas to work on there. Now, here's where people will have questions. And this just works for me because this is the way I work. This is the way I've always worked. In the past, I would print out my sort of discovery draft and have it next to me on the computer and start retyping. But the point of e-ink for me, part of it is to be paperless. So that's now acting as my draft. But you might be thinking, well, you're just having to retype the sentences. If you had the text over there, you could just copy and paste and edit on screen. And I say, well, this is how I like it. I don't want to be able to copy and paste. I want to be forced to recreate every sentence. That kind of makes my editing process more efficient in the long run. Because when I'm writing a discovery draft, like in this handwritten portion here, that's just the immediate raw stuff that comes out. If I just cut and paste at this point, I'll be carrying over sloppy writing. And this process makes me recreate stuff. Also, this scene was mostly dialogue. I was just getting something out quickly that I wanted to. So as I recreate it on the right-hand panel, I'll be adding dialogue tags and more description. And you can see this is sort of my process. I just go back and forth, making decisions on word choices. And again, if I had just cut and paste, I wouldn't be doing that extra step of thinking, is this really what I want to say and how I want to say it right now? Not that I'm trying to come out with a perfect draft at this point, but it keeps me from carrying over mistakes or cliches or like first impulse writing, and makes me really consider every word. And so my first sort of processed typed draft on the right hand side ends up being pretty clean and pretty tight compared to if I had just cut and paste that very like first front of mind kind of stuff. So here I can think about what I'm doing, make little adjustments, save myself time down the line. So right here, dig the same trenches. I've added dig the same sewage trenches because that's more descriptive, and it also keeps anyone from mistaking these trenches as metaphorical. So they're literal trenches. Now, I don't do this recreate every sentence with every single draft. This is really a first draft to second draft process for me, or a zero draft on the left, just like the raw material, the notes. And then on the right is like what I would think of as the first processed and organized draft. And because of the way that I do it, I'm actually already doing tons of cleanup on the front end by forcing myself to retype all those sentences. Any questions?